And welcome everyone to the South Huron Council, April 7th, 2025. And there's an amendment to the budget under 10.3.1, a staff report. We will call this meeting to order and we welcome those that are here tonight in the gallery and acknowledge that there's several members of the fire department from our South Huron Fire Department here tonight. And just want to thank you for your service publicly. We will also acknowledge the fact on April 9th this week, the day Vimy Ridge occurred, where our Canadians fought in a horrendous battle. The decades since the Battle of Vimy Ridge have slipped by, but the legacy of the Canadians who accomplished so much in that important First World War battle lives on. Some say that Canada became of age as a country on those harsh April days in 1917. So let's remember that also this Wednesday. We will now ask everyone to make sure their cell phones are off or turn to mute, and ask everyone to rise for Roll Canada, please. And we will begin our meeting with our land acknowledgement. As we gather, we are reminded that the municipality of South Huron is situated on Treaty 29 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people today. And as a community, we have a responsibility to honor and respect this territory's significance for the Indigenous peoples who lived and continue to live upon it, and whose practices and spiritualities were tied to the land and continue to develop in relationship to the territory and its other inhabitants today. In the spirit of reconciliation and truth, we acknowledge the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples on whose traditional territory we are meeting. And thank you for that. So the meeting is called to order, and we will go to item number 3, please.
That South Huron Council approves the agenda as presented.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, second by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Are there any disclosures at this time? And not seeing any. We have no presentation, but we have a delegation under item 6. Welcome Jay McGuffin. Is Jay joining us tonight by Zoom, or is he in the audience someplace?
It appears he has yet to join remotely. I know he was planning to join by Zoom. He just hasn't joined the meeting yet.
Okay. If Jay hasn't attended yet, we can wait for him, or we can move on to the next items. Madam Clerk, your suggestions, please.
If council would like, they could hear him later on in the meeting if he does join and just proceed to the next item. It would be at council's discretion.
Would I need a consensus of council to do that, to expedite things? I'm seeing a nodding of heads. Very well, we'll move on to the next items and we'll come back to 6.1 at some point in the meeting, we hope. Next item, 8.1, please. Ms. Masuo-Carlson.
That South Huron Council adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of March 17th, 2025 as printed and circulated.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Vaughn, seconded by Councillor Dietrich. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Next item, please. 9, please.
That the minutes and agenda packages of the following committees and or boards be received as presented to council. Huron OPP Detachment Board, minutes of January 27th, 2025 meeting and OPP report, agenda package of March 24th, 2025, and Board 2024 annual report. Exeter Business Improvement Area, BIA, minutes of February 11th, 2025. The Sabo Bayfield Conservation Authority, draft minutes of February 20th, 2025, and agenda package of March 20th, 2025. Community Safety and Wellbeing Oversight Committee, draft minutes of March 19th, 2025, and Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, 2025 budget package, draft minutes of February 25th, 2025, and agenda package of March 25th, 2025.
And a mover, please. Is there a mover? Moved by Councillor Vaughn, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Deputy, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Just under the OPP detachment report, we have a new detachment commander starting, I believe, April the 21st. Her name is Laura Lee Brown. So I want to welcome her to the Huron County. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that, Deputy. Are there any other questions at this time? We have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, I'll call a question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Thank you. Staff reports 10.1.1, please.
That South Huron Council receives planner report dated April 7th, 2025 for information.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neve, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 10.2.1, please.
That South Huron Council receives staff report Fire 04-2025, Dashwood Fire Station replacement, design and Class D quote, and that council approves the Dashwood Fire Station design as presented by Spreat Associates Architects and Consulting Engineers in principle.
And a mover, please. Councillor Neve moves, seconded by Councillor Oak. Discussion? Mr. Becker, do you want to talk to this at this time, or go ahead whenever you're ready? Take your time. And thank you for your service.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Finch. Going back to our fire master plan is where this started a number of years ago, and the realization that the need for replacement building is required. We were tasked with a design, a footprint anyways, a size, which we come up with. We met with our consultants, some of the members of the committee. We did some tours of stations in the area, Middlesex County and Perth County as well, to get some ideas. So this design, we went through it several times with our consultant. We looked at layouts and flexibility and operational needs for the station. So when you look at the schematic drawing, the footprint, these are back-in bays that we've proposed at this time, with the access coming in from the back door into the bunker gear room and then onto the apparatus floor for easy flow for when the volunteers are responding. The biggest thing to highlight is the showers that are required now. And this is all part of our cancer prevention program in the new building. Small training room with a kitchenette for the training, one small office, a tool room, and then gear laundry as well. Again, cancer prevention, which is the forefront for the need for the gear laundry, which is what take you back to the OFM grant that we received earlier this year for our washer and dryer. So we have received those items as well. Mezzanine over part of the bunker gear room for some storage. And then of course the universal washroom and the mechanical electric room on the southwest corner there. Any questions so far on that?
Any questions from members of council? Councillor Vaughn, go ahead, please.
Yeah, at this point, not a question, more of a suggestion. I'm just wondering, since Chief Becker is talking about this particular design, is it possible to put it on the screen so our gallery can actually see that?
Absolutely. I'll turn to staff. If they could accommodate that request, please. Okay.
So again, we took a look at what our needs are operational wise. Again, back in bays versus drive-through bays, there is a cost saving in that, and not every call requires every apparatus to respond. Similar to the station here in Exeter, it does have drive-through bays. The majority of the responses are only the front vehicles. So they back into the station when they return. So it is a bit of a cost saving to go that route, but that's what we looked at. If we were to expand to drive through bays, the parking area at the back of the building would then have to be moved further west, expanding the parking lot as well. So having it up against the building keeps the parking lot to actually what we need, and then using that area behind that for a training ground, which was also a recommendation in the fire master plan. And the other thing to keep in mind, this building right now is designated as our backup EOC. So we would have all of the requirements for communication and stuff in that training room as well.
Thank you, Chief. Questions from anyone? Deputy, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Just question about the door to the north. I guess I look at it, we've only got 4 trucks. So why couldn't we back that one truck on the north side, back it right up to the west and use the front end for pickup or whatever needs to be parked there?
So there is 5 apparatus in Dashwood now, 4 firefighting apparatus, and then the service vehicle, which is primarily the one that I drive. So there would be the need for that. As far as that door, I don't have a problem eliminating that.
Thank you. Follow up? No, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Neve and then Councillor Oak.
Well, I guess more of a statement too. This is conceptual at this stage, and as we go through the different stages and review of the process with staff, I would anticipate that things will probably change and be adjusted. Again, this is just conceptual, right?
Correct. Thank you very much. Councillor Oak.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The one thing about that door to the north, I know when we were touring the stations, the guys in Kerwood, they really like that side door, just to be able to wash things off and run the hoses out that door or whatever. It was convenience for them. They recommended having that door to the side like they did. They only had a single bay in their case, and not as many, but they did. That was one of the highlights that they thought about their station for sure. So, but open to suggestions as well on that. Now, there is a series of steps that we're looking at here. This is just the Class D costing. Maybe somebody could go through the next steps that where we're at, because we've got a number here that was presented, and it's not detailed of how it's broken down, but I believe in the next steps that would come, but maybe somebody could give an update.
Ms. Carlson or Mr. Rolfe? Mr. Rolfe, please.
So the chair, yeah, currently we're about halfway through phase 1 of the tender package that was sent out. So from here, basically, Spreets will work with their consultants and go through more detailed designs and refine that estimate down to what is called a Class C. Class C estimate is 15 to 20% of the actual, and then it'll come back to council. And at that point, council can make the decision whether we move forward with the tender process or we have further meetings with Spreets.
Councillor Oak.
So just so I can clarify, I look at the numbers. In this number, there is my understanding is there's contingency built in here. There's also 25% tariff, I understand, potentially in here. And this is for a steel structure.
Mr. Rolfe.
Could I get that clarified?
Through the chair, you're correct. Currently, this is a steel structure proposal. It's for linear panels, steel structure. Yes, there is a 25% tariff included in that $2.6 million estimate from Spreets. And this estimate is a project cost. So it has the superstructure, has your civil, has 25% contractors' fees, professional fees from Spreets for doing the contract administration for the tendering. And then we also have independent T&I, so testing and inspections, contingency. And then that's what brings us to this entire project cost.
Mr. Wolf, go ahead.
So just to clarify, this is, in my mind, like a worst case scenario. Like as far as a budget potentially with those kind of build-ins.
So the chair, this is a class D, so it's within 30%. So I wouldn't say, I can't guarantee that's worst case scenario. It could go one way or the other.
Thank you. Councillor McLeod Haggett.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. I think that we should also be looking at, rather than just doing steel, doing the disaster-proof fire-rated materials to see what options we have there for not cutting corners, but seeing the cost price difference on those points.
Mr. Wolf.
So the chair, yeah, we've had multiple conversations with Spreets regarding different superstructure types, whether it's mass timber or different kinds of steel structures or your conventional lumber as well. I think Spreets is online. If they wish to comment any further, if you guys have any questions regarding the structure itself or the concept drawing.
Is there anyone from Spreets online, please?
I'm Shanna, the architect, and Alex, the engineer.
Did you catch that question from Councillor McLeod Haggett? Would you be able to respond to that?
Yeah, so we priced 5 different options, and this was the most cost effective. It's a pre-eng structural building with a liner panel on the exterior. The other options, we did do another pre-eng with, they're called sandwich panels. It's an insulated liner panel on the exterior. That was the second cost-effective option, and then the most expensive options we did were wood frame buildings. Alex, mass timber was the most expensive option. One of the reasons being is the spans. We need to have large spans for these apparatus spaces.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Oak.
So just to clarify, as we move through these steps, if it proceeds, the tender could go out and we can have a tender come back with different options. Is that potential, like as far as a wood structure, a steel structure, or anywhere between, or how is the tender, how would it be designed?
No, that's why we do these options early, because it needs to be selected. So we proceed with an option that is selected from council. And then we go for the detailed drawings, and a class C will be done by cost estimators. And we keep developing the drawings for a tender package, because we can't draw every single option and have it priced out differently, because each option will be designed differently structurally, and it'll be designed differently for insulation values.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Vaughn, go ahead, please.
Yes, I did hear them or consultants basically answering that question, but I really had a difficult time understanding what the other options are or what was more expensive or not expensive. So I'm just thinking in terms of, when is that actually shared with council, or is it actually shared with council? Because all I'm looking at here tonight is kind of an option of one, not the other options that have come before, and wondering how I get a better understanding of that, because I didn't catch anything that was said through that video or that audio.
Would someone from Spreet please respond?
The other options were previously shared with staff, and this was the option that we chose, as the range from, I believe the package sent to you has our pricing and the site, because the only numbers I have are for the buildings, and it ranged from around 2.5 million to 3.7.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor McLeod Haggett.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, given all of the discussions regarding tariffs, what part of this project would potentially fall under the tariff?
Potentially everything could, but the price we got for terrace right now is the pre-eng building. I'm seeing overhead doors, windows, everything is being affected by terrace at this point.
Thank you. Councillor Oak?
So just to clarify, the building in this report said 2.6 million. So you're putting tariff on the 2.6 million?
When we got our cost estimate for the pre-eng building, we did get a tariff pricing from, it was Steelway, I believe.
Yep.
It's Steelway.
Thank you.
It's
Any other,
included in this pricing.
So yeah, okay, thank you.
Councillor Vaughn?
Yes, my other question has to do with where we are in the process right now. And I just think I understood from Mike that the next time this is coming to council, we're probably going to be asked if we're ready to put it out to tender. And so my question is all around grants. And specifically, a couple of times when this has come to council, I have asked if we have been engaged with FCM, because I know they have some green initiative grants. And if so, what have we learned from that, from FCM? Because I have had some other projects with FCM involvement, not specifically with South Huron, but at the Grenbin Sewage Treatment Facility. And I do know that they encourage municipalities and engineers to reach out to them at the earlier stages. So when you're going to tender, you're actually incorporating whatever it is FCM is suggesting you need to be able to take advantage of a grant. So my question is first about FCM, where are we with that?
So we had met as part of the Fire Services Committee with FCM and had a presentation from them at that time. Now at this point, we're at the design in principle. So, and we have a approximate cost, let's say, a Class D estimate. At this point, we can reach out to FCM, at least broad strokes.
Thank you. Councillor Vaughn?
Yeah, I'm thinking in terms of, I don't want to see us at a situation when the next time this comes to council that we've had a missed opportunity in terms of FCM not having an opportunity to tell us if we want to have a green component, energy efficient component, and there are a number of ranges that you can have for different energy efficiencies. I don't want to find out that we haven't even had that discussion. I know we reached out a year, maybe a year and a half ago, and that's fine, but now we're getting down to the short strokes. And so I'm asking if we're going into the next phase, can we bring them into the situation where we're at right now, or, and I'm not sure it's an or, do we have any other grant opportunities beyond FCM that we are actually pursuing? So again, we don't go too far down the path and make a commitment and it's too late to go for a grant.
And through the mayor, we have been keeping an eye on grants for that as well. And we have had discussions with Spreet on the greening of this facility as well. I would like the Spreet consultants maybe to provide council kind of an overview of some of the discussion points that we have had.
Anyone from Spreet, please, could respond?
Yeah, most of the green items that we've incorporated are mechanical and electrical. And unfortunately, our mechanical electrical team are not present. They will be incorporating, say, such in-floor heating and more energy efficient sources to the building. We are designing the structure to support solar panels, so they are added in the future. But that's all I can say at the moment, not being a mechanical or electrical engineer.
Can you clarify a bit on that information, please? You're a little muffled there. Yeah, we're having a little trouble hearing you. If you could just be a little more clear in your microphone, that'd be great.
Move the speaker closer. Is that a bit better?
Seems a little bit better. Yeah, if you stay close to the microphone, I think it might
Yeah,
make a
sorry,
difference.
our mechanical and electrical engineer couldn't make the meeting, and most of the green incentives are mechanical, electrical based. So we have in-floor heating, and it'll be used other energy efficient items in this building. I believe we're using an HVAC system as well. And there is boiler system possibly being put in to heat this in-floor heating. But we are putting extra load for solar panels.
Yeah, we'll have an allowance for installing in the future solar panels on the building.
So fair to say that you are pursuing green initiatives under the FCM grant application programs? Is that a fair statement, or we're looking towards that?
Yes. Yes.
So it's all under consideration.
Yes,
Councillor?
and most of the considerations are mechanical, electrical. We will be designing the building like the envelope to comply with SB 10, which is Ontario Building Code, and it complies with all, if not any grant application form for energy efficiency.
Thank you. Councillor Oak, you had a comment?
I was just going to mention that some of the other grants that are maybe available, you almost have to have a shovel-ready project, right? Before they want to explore it with you, sort of thing. So, but it's never hurts to reach out and hopefully, you know, as this time goes, maybe some delegations that we have with some of the different ministries with upcoming conferences.
Thank you. Councillor Vaughn, do you have a question?
I think what I heard there was that, yes, we are going to be pursuing opportunities with FCM. And so I'm happy to hear that. Thanks.
Very good. Are there any other questions at this time? Councillor Neeb, go ahead, please.
Just more of a comment too, and thank you to our chief building official and the fire chief and with your work with Spreets and putting this together. There's a lot of things I see in here that we currently don't have in the Dashwood Fire Hall, including, you know, showers, bunker gear room, like a lot of room for bunker gear, as well as the opportunity to actually wash firefighting equipment. So that's a few major things. It's an accessible building. There's a lot of really positive things about this concept. So thank you for your work on it. In discussions with the committee, we had talked about the potential of making sure that it was future proof, and that we could maybe down the road have the potential to add on. And I guess my one question is, with the concept that we have in front of us, is there still the potential to add on if need be down the road?
Chief, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Finch. Yes, with the design that we've proposed here, the gable end could be added on to the north of the building very easily.
And Chief, just for clarification, that doesn't necessarily mean just for fire. It could be for another service like roads down the road 50 years, 60 years.
Correct. It could be OPP or ambulance or public works or the CAO's office. Anything you want. And I do want to just, Rebecca was part of our team as well, so I just didn't want to miss her getting credit for that as well. So
I'm sorry.
So it appears there's been a lot of thought gone into this development over the last 12 years, because that's how long this discussion's been going on. Is that a fair statement?
yeah, through you, Mayor Finch, we did tour a number of facilities. That would be last summer, I believe. The committee, we went into Perth East and West Perth and looked at those, and then we did Adelaide Metcalf in Kerwood as well to look at that building. Just a different design, again, with the option to the add-on option was what we were really looking for, because you don't know what the future holds, and building it this way, we're ready for that expansion if that was ever required, be it fire or any other service.
Thank you. And is it fair to say that this plan is already within alignment of the master fire plan? Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, through you, Mayor Finch, this design does take into account all the recommendations from the fire master plan. for the bunker gear storage, the washrooms, the shower facilities. And as I believe it was Councillor Need mentioned, the ability to wash the apparatus inside. Right now, everything's washed outside. So you can picture this afternoon in a snowstorm, if there was a fire, the hose would be washed on the outside of the, out of the building on the front tarmac. So this allows everything to be done inside.
Of course, again, one more comment. This is fair to say this is not a Taj Mahal type of building. This is a standard building that is needed for the needs of the fire service. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Finch, this is not a Taj Mahal. This is what we need. This is operationally what we need. You can drive within 20 to 30 minutes of here if you wish to see a Taj Mahal. I can point you to east and a west direction, and you can see that we have not done that. We're responsible staff members, and it's by no means over and above anything that we need.
Thank you, Chief. Councillor Oak.
Yeah, and I want to clarify that council had given direction to come back with a design similar to this, and this sort of fits into the scope that we had gave direction at the last time we talked about the hall. I think it was 3 bays, the apparatus room, and 8,700 type of square feet for the whole footprint. So looks like that's what we're getting here. So.
Any other questions? Councillor McLeod-Hagan, go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, through you, Mayor Finch. If we're looking down the road to adding potentially to like the parks or works, waterworks or roads or whatever on the north end, would it not make sense now to flip the design to have the office space as the center with the bays on each side, similar to what Blythe has?
Through you, Mayor Finch, that would be a completely different design. If we were to change that, we did go down that road in the past, and this was the direction that we were given at the time. So that's what we've come up with. This allows the lower portion of the building to be as far south as possible with the current building and the pavilion that's on site that we currently use for training. And then you could add on to the north side garage space past the apparatus floor. But if you were talking about a Blythe type of a building, that would definitely be a complete change in concept.
Thank you. Any other questions at all? Deputy.
Thank you. I just have and it's little, it's minor, it's not, I just see these things, and it already happened to me where I got ice on my head. I don't see any protection over these small doors where you enter the building. And I personally would like to see that. I don't know which one's going to be your main entrance, but I see 2 doors here now that to me need to or should have something over them. Thank you.
Mike, Mr. Rolfe.
Through the mayor. Yeah, excellent point. Excuse me. Excellent point, but these are just concept drawings. There will be some minor changes and alterations, not to the layout, but just little things as the designs come forward. So definitely protection of the residents and residences, protection of the people coming in and out of that building will be key. So whether it's snow stops or maybe even just a small roof or something like that that's over top of those primary entrances, we'll look after.
Are there any other questions at this time? Not seeing any. Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, does anyone require a recorded vote on this? No, very well. We'll ask all in favor. And that carries with 7. Thank you. Okay, I see Mr. Jay, you're here. Maybe you could come up now if you'd like under 6.1 and we'll see you. Thank you very much, firefighters, for showing up this evening. Appreciate your time and thank you for your service. Welcome, Jay. Whenever you're ready, feel free to begin.
Thank you, Mayor Finch. Members of council, very grateful to be here this evening, and my apologies if I'm slightly tardy. Weather coming out of London this evening was very unpleasant, and I was delayed. Also like to say a good evening to staff as well. On behalf of my client CVD, very pleased to be here, and there may be a little bit of confusion by council as to why I'm here, but just to give a bit of a brief explanation. We've been, or maybe I'll start at the beginning. Our client owns the lands north of the Thames Road, London Road intersection, northeast corner. It's legally described as Concession 1, Part Lot 21. The land's up in behind the food store, extending off of London Road into the east. Formerly, they were draft plan approved. I believe as far back as 2011 when they got their first draft plan approval. And they underwent subsequent extensions on that draft plan approval through 2014, 2017, and 2020, with the last one approved in March of 2021. There has been a difficulty that our client has found in terms of marketing the highway commercial lands that are immediately fronting onto London Road. Council may not have a recollection of the way the road was structured, but MTO restrictions have required significant setbacks before access can be obtained onto the highway commercial portion. So the original draft plan went in about 300 meters from London Road on what would be a constructed public road before it would make a turn to the north and then require a loop back into the blocks to get out back another 300 meters to the London Road frontage. So if you can imagine being McDonald's or any of the other highway-oriented commercial type uses, having frontage along London Road is fantastic, but not being able to get to it is not ideal, and they have not been able to market those lands for that purpose. We had brought forth a request to the municipality and have been working with the municipality for quite some time now, a number of years. CVD had made a request for that lapse or extension, sorry, of the previous draft approval back in 2022. But at municipal and county direction, the decision not to approve the requested extension was made, and that approval lapsed. What that means under the Planning Act is that there is no opportunity once a lapsing occurs. It means the lands have to go back through the entirety of the subdivision approval process. So we were retained by CVD, the owners of the lands, to assist them. And Mr. Metzger, the county planner representing South Huron at the time, authored a planning report on February 1st, 2022. And it provided a number of reasons as to why. One of them was that there had been no activity in terms of the development of the commercial lands, even though our client had been suggesting they were having a difficult time securing commercial development on those properties that would facilitate the significant investment to build the infrastructure, build that public road 300 meters into the site before they could create blocks to have it turn around and come back out to London Road. A variety of other reasons, but one of the reasons as well, the former CIO, Mr. Best, had also recommended to South Huron Council and to the county a request for mixed-use development to occur on those highway commercial lands. Since 2022, we have been working for CVD Group on a mixed-use proposal for those lands, and we've been in significant consultation both with the municipality, the county, and the Ministry of Transportation. Our client had retained Paradigm Transportation engineers to do their transportation work and have been working for several years with the ministry to try to get approval on developments. The ministry, and part of the submission that I provided for this delegation was a letter provided by our transportation engineer outlining the challenges we've been having from a commercial use perspective on the property, dealing with the access permissions. The ministry has taken a position that a 400-meter access is required off of London Road. which I'm finding challenging, but we're also experiencing in other jurisdictions in Ontario. I have another project in Southwold, which is just south of London, which is receiving the same comments, and it's very difficult, and we've been for several years working on that one as well. And yet I just drove through Lucan tonight in a whiteout, but happened to notice that on the north limit of Lucan on the west side, there is a significant highway commercial development that fronts directly onto London Road in that community. And we've been struggling with why in this location is the ministry being so prescriptive in the application of its I don't want to say regulations. It's a policy document from the ministry that they're employing. We've had significant meetings. Municipal staff as well have been in attendance in those meetings with the Ministry of Transportation. We have provided numerous iterations of traffic studies, numerous iterations of concept plans. I won't bore you. I know my time is limited, but I'm just trying to set the stage as to why I'm here tonight. We had been working diligently with the municipality, the county staff, and with the MTO in trying to bring a resolution. I also know that last year our client invested just over $700,000 in public infrastructure funding for the connecting link works that were being done in front of their property. Excuse me, our client also advises they've been approached by McDonald's. As council may be aware, McDonald's has a less than ideal situation with regard to the queuing into their drive-through facility that ends up stacking out onto Richmond or London Road in this location. But unfortunately, our client hasn't been able to accommodate because of the limitations that MTO is placing on their side of the road. Anecdotally, I have heard, but I'm not able to quantify that in some regard, there's a strict adherence to ministry requirements in this location because previous approvals and decisions have led to a less than ideal traffic situation in this particular location. Prior to the last council meeting where council considered its new official plan update, on the Thursday prior to that meeting, we received a phone call from our client advising that the final report on the South Huron official plan was coming to council, and we were unaware that that was occurring. And given the investment that our client has been making in the works that they had been undertaken, we had submitted a letter requesting that South Huron permit an opportunity for residential development on the highway commercial portions of the land, consistent with the conceptual plans that we had been working with. Council adopted the recommendations put forward by staff to approve the South Huron official plan without modification. We subsequently had conversations with the director of planning, and I apologize, perhaps it's manager of planning, but at the county, conversations with Denise Van Amersfoort. I was struggling with the last name, didn't want to say it incorrectly. Ms. Van Amersfoort has identified a special modification that she is proposing, but recognizing that county council is scheduled in 2 days. And tonight is likely the first time many of South Huron Council are hearing of this. So my client asked that I attend this evening in person, given the importance of this matter. My client has reviewed Ms. Van Amersfoort's special modification. And essentially what it does is it just puts a pause in place and allows for a future official plan amendment to come forward without an additional test or justification for residential land need in this location. Why this is very important is because part of your official plan update also is proposed to approve by the county settlement area expansions, which will increase the volume of residential land, particularly in Exeter. What that would mean is CVD would be behind the 8 ball coming forward with their proposal that they had been working on and have to prove that additional lands over and above the expansion that is occurring would be necessary. Our client has reviewed this, as have we. We are accepting of the proposal. Obviously, it doesn't give our client residential guarantee, but it does leave the door open And it essentially puts them back in the same position they were the night before council made the recommendation. The anticipation is once we get the resolution from MTO, we're coming forward with an official plan amendment, a zoning bylaw amendment, and a new draft plan of subdivision with the conceptual work that we've prepared to date. This modification, county modification, would enable those applications to come forward in the future without having to wait for additional residential lands that are being added through the proposed expansions to be built and developed and justify why these lands are also needed. So my client is in agreement with that recommended proposal. I do have a copy of it here. I didn't have it when I filed my delegation request because it was just made available Friday evening at end of day. But I'm more than pleased to read that if council would like, just so that everything is in front of council. So the recommended modification, that section 6.1.1 highway commercial policies for the settlement area of Exeter of the South Huron official plan be modified to include, and it's labeled with sub number 8, within the highway commercial lands legally described as concession 1 part lot 2 subject to easement being the subject lands. A special policy applies which allows residential uses to be contemplated as a component of development without justification in the form of a residential needs analysis at the time of an official plan amendment. All other applicable considerations at the time of development, which may include but are not limited to traffic impact, land use compatibility, servicing, stormwater management, and archaeology, must be addressed at the time of the application. So what that means is that all of the other requirements necessary to have council make a fulsome decision on the proposal will still be subject to the application. They just won't have to justify on an area acreage basis that these lands could be developed for residential in the form of mixed use and standalone residential. The intention still is to direct as much commercial as viable toward London Road, but to have the opportunity to also provide for higher density residential above commercial uses or behind commercial uses on that property. So just to sum up in the delegation, our client is just looking for South Huron a recommendation of that proposal. And if South Huron's not able to do it, recognize and just wanted to make sure that the council was fully aware of the recommendation that's going to county council on the 9th. And I've also requested to be a delegation to county council on the 9th. And with that, I thank you very much. And I don't know if you have any questions of me or if that's appropriate at delegation, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jay. And under 6.1, your delegation, under item 5, that report, that modification is on the docket here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Oak, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Jay, for the delegation there. So back when CVT signed the oversizing agreement, there was a drawing done at the time that showed highway, commercial, residential, and then a good significant portion of that property was industrial.
That's
based. Is that still the case? Is what's being proposed with this latest discussion?
Through you, Mayor Finch. Yes, it is. Now, with the caveat, the amount of commercial will be subject to MTO, but there's been no adjustment to the amount of industrial. We were only talking about the lands within that part of the property toward London Road that is designated for end zone for highway commercial uses only.
And that industrial land, the main exit for it is Pickard Road sort of thing. It would be a separate, for the most part, a separate exit.
That is absolutely correct, yes. There may be a vehicular connection, but that'll be controlled via municipal controls, truck loading, and various other tools that are in the municipal toolbox.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing any? Councilor Vaughn, do you have something? I see you're writing away there. No, that's fine. No problem. Didn't want to miss you. If there's nothing further, thank you very much for the presentation, Jake.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
See you Wednesday. Take care.
Thank you.
Ms. Masuda Carlson.
That South Huron Council receives the delegation from CVD Group regarding proposed modification to the South Huron official plan update as presented by Jay McGuffin. And if I could add, please, the Huron County agenda has been published and Denise has a really good report on there that kind of outlines kind of what Jay has presented.
Good. So we have a recommendation before us. So we need a mover and a seconder to receive his report. Moved by Councillor Neeb, second by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? All the question, all in favor? Thank you very much. Thanks again, Jay. Okay, we'll move on to item 10.3.
The South Huron Council received staff report ID 02-2025, 2025 to 2026, intake 10, Ministry of Transportation Connecting Links Program. And that South Huron approves an amendment to the budget to add a capital budget for the reconstruction of Main Street South, Sable River to Victoria Street in the amount of $4,216,680. And that South Huron Council authorize the use of funds from the Transportation Capital Replacement Reserve to fund the municipal portion of the reconstruction of Main Street South, Sable River to Victoria Street in the amount of $1,216,680.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Councillor Oak, Mr. Giberson's here.
Thank you. And thank you, Don, for putting the report together. Just one question. In the report, it talks about, sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. It mentions that water and sanitary sewer infrastructure is not included. I guess just clarification for me that we're redoing the road and the sidewalks and everything, and I assume we'd be doing the water and sewer if it needs to be done, unless it's been done recently. So maybe just clarification.
Mr. Giberson.
Good evening. Through you, Mayor Finch. The process that we're using for the evaluation of all the infrastructure is following the same path or procedure for the previous Connecting Link project, which is to first go with what we know is that the road does require to be rebuilt. But as part of the engineering assignment to evaluate we will be evaluating all the infrastructure and replace what is necessary. So there, once we hire an engineer and review existing videos, other reports, there will be a report come back to council because it is a good sound policy to review and replace all the infrastructure while the road's being reconstructed.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Vaughn.
Thank you. Yes, I actually sent in some of these questions earlier, and I believe Don gave a response, but I'm going to just ask so council can hear some of the responses. So in October 21, the staff report, when we first spoke of this project, we were advised in that report that if we were successful, and it looks like we're going to be, that we would defer urban road reconstruction projects that had been planned for 2026 in our 2025 budget. And so my question is, which 2026 projects are we proposing to defer?
Mr. Giberson.
Through you, Mayor Finch. Yes, in order to free up the funding and afford to do this project, staff would be proposing to defer all the road reconstruction projects in Exeter that were originally proposed for 2026. So that would be Gidley Street, the short block of Hardy, Baldwin, Alexander. Oh, there's about 6 of them. McConnell's the other one. So all of those projects that were originally planned, which are all designed and in the drawer, so they'll never go bad. Those are all proposed or will be proposed as soon as we get into the next budget cycle. That would be deferred, and that would free up the necessary funds and it's to do this project. It's also thinking ahead that if we get into the water and sewer, all of those projects have water sewer components. So it's an overall plan to defer those street reconstruction projects for 1 year. To move this project in the queue first.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Dietrich.
Thank you to the mayor. Don, how old would the existing infrastructure be in this project now at this time?
Mr. Garberson.
To you, Mayor Finch. The road itself, I believe is from the 1980s. The water main is in 1970s, and some of the sewer work is from the 1960s. So it's all old infrastructure. The road in particular is well past its useful life.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Vaughan.
Yes, the other question that I'd like you to talk a little bit about was the milestone dates for this project to be completed. I know that in the last Connecting Link project, the one we're just finishing up now, we seem to have some pretty tight timelines. So I just wondered if you might share with council what the milestone dates are for this particular project.
Mr. Garberson.
Through you, Mayor Finch. You gotta love a challenge. The first milestone that we face is we have to have an engineer on board to issue our first contract by June 30th of 2025. The next key milestone is to have the project designed and tender ready prior to the end of 2025, by December 31st, 2025. The project would be tendered as soon as it's designed and ready to go. Be constructed in 2026. And we will be required by agreement to have the project to substantial completion prior to December 31st, 2026. And then in 2027, the project will have to be the final layer of asphalt, any final restoration will have to be done. And then the closeout back end date, final report, you can't get any money after that date, is March 8th, 2028.
Thank you. You seem to know your timelines. Good for you, Mr. Garberson. Any other questions? No, great. Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Garberson, for your time on that. 10.4.1, I believe.
That South Huron Council received staff report CR 01-2025, supporting local economic development SLED funding program, and that South Huron Council authorizes staff to apply to the SLED funding program for a South Huron Youth Tourism Experience project.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor McLeod Haggett, second by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. 10.4.2.
That South Huron Council received staff report CR 02-2025, Access SLED funding program, and that South Huron Council authorizes staff to apply to the Access SLED funding program for a physical location access project in partnership with the Exeter BIA and South Huron Chamber of Commerce.
And a mover, please. Councillor Neeb and second by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carries a 7. Thank you. Next item, please. 10.4.3.
That South Huron Council received staff report FIN 05-2025. It's a 2024 annual development charges for information.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Oak, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Councillor Oak?
Yeah, just a question on the development charges in light of if we move ahead further with the fire hall in Dashwood, could we use any of the development charges that we have for to go towards the hall.
Ms. Mr. Carlson.
Through the mayor, we've been in discussions with the consultant and they're looking at it in the background study. At this time, they're still assessing the growth.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. Call the question. All in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. 10.4.4.
That South Huron Council received staff report BL 02-2025. That's a 2025 Q1 bylaw enforcement, request for service and complaints.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Oak, second by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Councillor Neeb.
Apologies if this has already been explained. I was just wondering if I could get a clarification on the difference between complaints and then infraction concerns.
Madam Clerk.
So through the chair, when requests for service or complaints come in, depending on how that goes for bylaw enforcement infractions, there may proceed on to further investigation to determine. It could be a complaint, but it might not actually turn into a bylaw issue. But there may be some that do, and that's when we move it onwards into the bylaw infraction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Not seeing any. Call the question. All in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. 10.4.5, please.
The South Huron Council received staff report CL 06-2025. That's Bereavement Authority of Ontario, BAO, Annual Cemetery Reporting 2024, and Cemetery Master Plan Update.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Councillor Oak.
Yeah, just I know back in 2021 we had Exeter Cemetery Master Plan, and part of the master plan started to talk about come 2025 we should start looking at expansion or start thinking about the expansion. And so just wondering if anything's been done on starting to look at expansion.
We welcome Ms. Webster. Welcome whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. So I can answer that question. We do still have that on our radar. However, we are looking at alternative solutions right now because there is enough land use in our current cemetery. So we're looking at columbariums, scattering garden, potentially dividing some of the 3 and 4 grave plots that are currently there and not being purchased, and potentially changing those into 1 and 2 grave plots.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Well, we have Ms. Webster there. Okay, not seeing any. Thanks very much, Kendra. Good job. Call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. 10.4.6.
That South Huron Council received staff report CAO 06-2025, provision of library facilities and services agreement with Huron County Library Board, and that council approves the draft agreement as presented, and that the bylaw be brought back for the required 3 readings.
And a mover, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Vaughn. Any discussion? Councillor Oak.
Just wanted to clarify that this agreement is just for the Exeter Library, not the Kirkton one.
This agreement, we did communicate with Perth South, and Perth South has reviewed the agreement and have approved it. The library board will only have an agreement with one of their municipalities, so that's with South Huron. And also, as further clarification, the library board pays for the Exeter Library $15,000, and for the Kirkton Library, there's a $10,000 grant that goes directly to the community center board. Okay.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Vaughn, go ahead.
Yeah, so I appreciate some of the numbers that you actually included in this report in terms of we've paid $605,000 of our levy to the county, and I understand that they're paying for staff and so on, and that's probably taking a good bite out of it. But we also pay for the almost $35,000 annually for things like janitorial services and some repairs and maintenance and maybe even insurance to some extent. We haven't had an increase in the amount that we are reimbursed for as many years as I've been on council, and I don't know, hazard a guess, maybe even back to 2001. Yet our costs continue to go up and up and up and up and up, and we continue to give more and more and more and more to the county. So I did get the sense from, if you didn't say it outright, that the county's just not interested in talking about that at this point in time. And so I'm wondering a couple of things. The first one is kind of a facetious comment, like when does that stop and they start to actually care that we're paying more? And the second thing is, because I think I saw in that agreement that they're paying for insurance and we're paying for insurance, what does our insurance cover and what does their insurance cover? And is there any double counting here that we can start knocking down some of these bills?
Sue Carlson.
Through the mayor, we take care of the building. They take care of the contents and the internal pieces. So they rent the space from the municipality, but the municipality needs to insure the building.
Okay, so just again, for a little more clarity, I know a lot of insurance policies when you insure a building also have some kind of a coverage over contents. And that's not a part of our insurance policy. Okay.
That is correct. There's no overlap there, yes.
Okay. So back to my facetious question for a minute here. Did they express any interest at all in ever looking at this growing expense that we have and we're not getting any remedy for? It's like, how do we address that further?
Deputy, you want to take that? You're on the library board.
I used to be.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, yes, it's been discussed at the county level numerous times. And I think through the county councilors, they just said that the same taxpayer is going to pay. Everyone has, excuse me, has one or two libraries in their municipality, and where do you stop and start raising it? So I think that's where it was left at the county level. Maybe Mayor Finch can help.
Nope, I believe that's correct from what I recall in the conversation, but I do know you were on the library board for a number of years. And do you recall how many libraries there are in the county? Do you remember that conversation? I know there's more than you think. So, but yeah, that's the conversation I recall too. Okay, any other questions at this time? Comments? Deputy, you had something, go ahead.
Thank you. And it's not that it can't be brought back up again at the county level. And see where it goes. We can try that and see what happens, maybe move it forward. Thank you.
So just for my curiosity, when was the last time, do you recall, like order of magnitude, 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Or maybe.
Go ahead, Sue Paulson.
Through the mayor, I think she said the 2023 service delivery. So a couple years ago.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, nothing further. Call the question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Thank you. Next item, 11. Are there any notices of motion, Madam Clerk?
There are none.
Thank you. 12. There's no items from the previous meetings. 13. Is there any new business anybody wants to introduce? Not seeing any. 13.1, please. Oh, sorry, Councilor Neeb, go ahead.
I shouldn't have whistled. That was rude. Sorry, just going back to the last conversation too. I know in the past, we had the library, I think the Exeter Library, they came and they did a delegation. And I'm just wondering if maybe, just given the conversation that we just had, maybe it'd be worthwhile for them to come and explain some of the programming that they do. Because I do think there is an incredible amount of value that they bring to the community, not just in the sense that it's a library, but there's a lot of different programs for a variety of ages. So I think it might be worthwhile to maybe have that conversation, because it does go beyond dollars and cents, and it's not just about economic impact, but also the social impact of these libraries. And I think that's something that maybe we should find out more about.
Certainly a lot of outreach from the library. Councillor Oak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just on that note, one of the communications tonight from Huron Shores Transit, there was a number of passes through the library for the bus. that went through the library as well. So, and I know that from time to time that they've been involved with swimming passes for the pools and things. So, yeah, it'd be good to get an idea of all the scope that they really are involved with.
Thank you, Ms. Masula Carlson.
Through the mayor, I'll set up an invitation.
Thank you very much. You don't need a recommendation for that?
No,
Thank
I'll
you.
just follow up with Beth.
Very well.
Sorry for whistling again.
That's okay. That's no problem. Any other items for, or new business or any other new business? Okay, not seen. We move on to 13.1, Ms. Masula Carlson.
That South Huron Council set a council priority setting workshop for Monday, May 12th at 4 p.m. and a training workshop for Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 4 p.m.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. Councillor Oak.
Just in light of our delegation tonight, and there's a delegation that's happening at County Council on Wednesday. Just wondering what the feeling is on the delegation that's going to happen at County Council.
Who knows? That's no Councillor Ms. Masula Carlson.
I can provide kind of an overview of what I know. There is a report from Denise, county planner, requesting Huron County Council consider an amendment, a modification to the official plan. So county council can either refer it back to the municipal level for discussion, or they can pass it as is, or they can pass it with the modification. That's where we're at right now.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just wondered what our council reps opinion of the application, I guess.
Yeah, and from my position is that we kind of have to wait till we get to council, and we can't predict what county council is going to do. It's like predicting what this council is going to do. We just don't know. Deputy, do you have a comment?
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think maybe we have to wait till we get all the information from up there and see what other county councilors have to say and kind of make the decision from there. That's my feeling on it also. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't think the deputy or I want to jeopardize any discussion or decisions that are being made there on Wednesday by commenting on it today. So thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Neeb, go ahead.
If it is referred back to South Huron Council, that I'm guessing would come with a report and information kind of detailing staff's perspective on this.
Ms. Masula Carlson.
Through the mayor, yes, I would expect that that's how it would come, and probably any comments that the county had provided as well.
Any other comments under 14? Okay, not seeing any. Okay, so as far as the mayor goes, March 20th, I attended the ABCA Partner Appreciation Evening at the Ironwood Golf Club. Councillor Vaughn was there, also there. I don't remember if anyone else from council was there, but it was a well-attended event. Many congratulations to several people, including the Lambton Shores Nature Trails, who were selected as the Conservationist of the Year. In addition, David Carter, a director of the Phil McNamee Charitable Foundation, was the guest speaker at the event. He spoke about the Serenity Nature Reserve on Corbett Line, 300 meters north of the Crediton Road. If you've not been there, I would recommend you take the 25 minutes to hike this beautiful trail and learn more about what this is about. I've spoken to Phil and Mary a few times, and Deputy Mayor Dietrich, myself, and our CEO are meeting with them tomorrow. On March 22nd, I participated in the Bowl for Kids program as a fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters in Zurich, and I had the opportunity to bowl against the Exeter Hawks. I can tell you they are great ambassadors for the community, and everyone had a lot of fun. I'm not going to tell you what my score was, but I wasn't the high scorer. Some of the Hawks are pretty good bowlers, as are the hockey players. On March 27th, I participated at the Grand Bend and Area Mayor's Breakfast. Most members of council were there. Of course, it was Doug Cook and Mayor Paul Klopp. And it was a great opportunity to connect with the local community. One of the things we wanted to emphasize between the three mayors is that all mayors are working together as a region of Ontario, and there are no silos. I had a great conversation with MPP Steve Pinsonneau about this and look forward to meeting with him again in the future. And I was very grateful for the opportunity to work collaboratively with such great partners that day. And that evening, I attended the United Way Spirited Community Celebration in Stratford, and Councillor McLeod-Haggett was also there. It was a sold-out event from what I could see, and it was great to see the local South Huron businesses being represented and who really made a difference here in South Huron. It was also impressive to see our very own South Huron High School student Grace Theopolis recognized for her contributions as a volunteer. Grace has had a great career at South Huron High School and has been a part of many very impactful community organizations. So we're very glad to see her recognized that evening. On March 31st, I congratulate Uptown Sweets and Rick McCarty on the move closer to downtown. If you've not been there, it has soup and sandwich deals and of course lots of sweets. On the 4th of April, Councillor Dietrich and I attended the Huron Economic Outlook Perspectives on the 2025 Ontario Economic Report in Blythe with our CEO, Ms. Masuda Collison. The guest speaker was very good, as was the discussion panel. The tariffs are going to have a huge impact on our economy. There's no getting around that, but there's lots more coming in the future, weeks and months, and much of it is out of our control of municipalities, but the best thing we can do is shop local and shop Canadian. Those are the things I have been doing, and move on to item 15. Anything you like pulled? Oh, sorry, Councillor McLeod-Haggett, go ahead, please.
Sorry, through you, Mayor. Just back to the United Way event, just to update you guys on, given we do have an MOU with the United Way, South Huron for the coldest night, our goal was 50,000. We so far, well, it ended at March 31st. We raised $81,935 for South Huron. Huge shout out to everyone that was involved in it. And the total for the Perth Huron United Way so far is $2,624,722 that we have raised this year. So yeah, this community, the way that it steps up, amazing.
Okay, great. Thank you for that report. Is there nothing further under 14? Move on to 15 then, please. Ms. Masuda Collison, if you like anything pulled, folks, just please ask.
15.1, 15.2, 15.3, 15.4, 15.5, 15.6, 15.7.
Pull.
Okay, that includes 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. 15.8,
Pull.
15.9,
Pull that.
15.10,
Pull that.
15.11, 15.12, 15.13, 15.14, 15.15.
Okay, very well. 15.2, Councillor, oh, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wondering, I noted that in the communications we've had, March 31st was sort of the deadline for the grant application. Just wondering if there's been any discussion or hearing anything on that grant.
Ms. Masuda Collison.
To the mayor, haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along to 15.7, Councillor Need, please.
Yep, thank you, Mayor Finch. And just there's some correspondence here from members of the public about the dog park in Exeter, or potential dog park in Exeter, as well as correspondence from a local veterinarian offering to help financially support the dog park. I'm just wondering if we can make sure that this correspondence is forwarded on to our budget discussions later in the year for 2026. I think it's worthwhile that we take into consideration any financial support that we could get if council does decide to move forward with it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Masuda Collison.
To the mayor, so just for clarification, any and all correspondence that is coming on the Exeter Dog Park as part of the package?
Yep, I think that would be great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Next item will be 15.8, and I believe Mr. Neeb asked for that to be pulled. I believe Ms. Basula Carlson has a comment with that. Go ahead, please. Go ahead first. Yep.
Mine was somewhat related, but not entirely related. I just kind of was looking for staff's input into whether we should be making a recommendation with Perth South to ask for the speeds to be slowed down.
And it's something we can also look to at the county also, but Ms. Basula Carlson has more information.
Through the mayor, if council wishes to pass a resolution of support, I'm sure the clerk can draft something up, but just as an update, Manager of Transportation and myself are meeting with First South and the MTO tomorrow. However, a resolution is never remiss if that's something that council wants to proceed with.
Councillor Oak?
Yeah, I think I would definitely like to, we should do a resolution. But I'm thinking also Kirkton and Woodham, that whole stretch. Because it's similar. Bottom line, there's a lot of residential in Woodham there as well. And in talking with Sue Orr, the mayor, and Perth South, they were looking at potentially including both because it's a very close gap there between the two areas.
Okay, thank you. We'll just wait for our clerk to prepare a recommendation.
That South Huron Council support Perth South's correspondence to the MPPs and to include support for both a decrease for Kirkton and Woodham speed.
And do you want to mention the county roads also?
So South Huron Council support the correspondence of Perth South for the MPPs regarding working together to address concerns raised by residents of Kirkton and for a decrease in speed for the Kirkton Woodham area as well as surrounding county roads.
So move, Councillor Neeb.
So moved, yep.
Okay, and Councillor Oak, you want to second that? So second it then. Is there any discussion on that? Councillor Dietrich, go ahead, please.
Thank you to the mayor. I don't know if I missed something here or what, but what is the speed limit now?
I believe it's 60 coming in, if I'm correct on that, into Woodham, or sorry, into Kirkton. And there's 60-kilometer zone in Kirkton and in Woodham in different sections, but I believe it goes to 80 between the two communities.
Okay, and what are they asking for?
Just traffic calming measures is what I understand.
Like 40 or something?
There was I think a petition and they had 4 or 5 items, traffic calming items that they were asking, not necessarily a speed reduction. There was some traffic calming items.
It's not the speed they're concerned about, it more about these other listings that they got on here. Okay.
Correct, yes. Okay, any other discussion? Councillor Vaughn.
Yeah, and so of the 5 that they've mentioned here in the petition itself, the one thing that isn't there is in many towns now we have the flashing your speed is 65 when it should be 60 or whatever the case may be. That isn't a suggestion for a traffic calming measure, and I'm just wondering because it's MTO that's involved, do they not do things like that? Like in terms of having those kind of slow down? Because that seems to help in a lot of communities to wake people up that you're speeding. And so I'm just wondering, it's an MTO question.
And I guess because we're asking, maybe that puts it on the radar for them. That may be why it hasn't been asked for before, and it's just that's why the public's concerned about it. Ms. Masula Carlson, you have a comment?
I can't really answer that one. However, it is something that's on the list that we will be discussing with the MTO. So I imagine they'll give us our response. As far as the flashing light, is that the one that you were?
No, the
Oh.
flashing light kind of makes me think of a light that's in the middle of the road, you know, up high, there's one yellow or red on the other side, that kind of a flashing light. I'm talking about the ones that we have around the municipality that when you're entering into Dashwood that say you're going too fast, like flash. Your speed is the one we have at Airport Road. That kind of wakes people up to, hey, you know, slow down. So it's not a suggestion for that kind of a traffic calming measure, and I'm just thinking, why not?
Okay, I can bring that up. So basically a speed sign type.
Yeah.
Warning, speed
Warning,
sign.
speed
Yeah.
warning, I
Okay,
guess.
sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So we have it moved and seconded and discussed. Any further discussion on it? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you, everyone. Next item would be 15.9. So unless somebody else is going, I've already asked to go to the second day of the Thrive Summit. And I believe that's been booked. Is anyone else interested in going? Councillor Vaughn and Councillor McLeod-Haggett?
Yeah, I've already booked my ticket for day 1.
I'm booking for day 1 as well.
Okay, perfect. So we know who's going. Do we need a resolution, Ms. Masula Carlson, or are we fine? Everything's fine.
Let's do a resolution.
Okay.
Sorry. Let's do a resolution just so we have it covered.
Okay, I'll just allow the clerk to prepare that then. So Councillor Vaughn and Councillor McLeod-Haggett are on day 1 and I'm on day 2.
That South Huron Council authorize the registration to the Huron County Thrive Summit for the following council members. Day 1, Councillor Vaughn and Councillor McLeod-Haggett, and day 2, Mayor Finch.
Is there a mover? Councillor Vaughn moves it, Councillor Neeb seconds it. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. 1510. I don't know who's read that, but I'm part of that Huron County Municipal Officers Association. I'm on that committee. And if you're interested in going, it looks like a very promising day. So I will be going. If there's anyone else wishing to go, Councillor Vaughn. Oh, yep.
Yes, I am interested in going.
I thought you had a comment.
No.
Okay, so Councillor Vaughn's going, I'll go, and who else wants to go? Okay. A resolution for that too, I would assume. Thank you. Go ahead when you're ready.
That South Huron Council authorize the registration to the Huron County Municipal Officers Association Annual General Meeting. Apologies. For Councillor Vaughn and Mayor Finch.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor McLeod-Haggett. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. Next item. None, so move the resolution, please.
That South Huron Council receive communication items not otherwise dealt with.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Dietrich, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7. And no closed session, no report from closed session. 18.1, please.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 25/2025, being a bylaw to regulate burning, including prevention of the spreading of fires.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Dietrich, seconded by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7. 18.2.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 26/2025, being a bylaw to adopt the water and wastewater master plan update.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Vaughn. Any discussion? Councillor Vaughn, please.
Yeah, so this is a big report, 600 and some odd pages, 650 some pages. And there have been changes and Mr. Giberson did give us a cover memo that said in broadly, these are the sort of areas that we've made some changes to. But in terms of being able to compare what we had before, what we have this time, I honestly did not have time to go through a 650-page report to look for the differences, although I did find a few. And I'm just wondering, is there, well, two things. We have before us that we're going to be talking about in, I guess, our next council meeting, potentially, the official plan amendment. I'm talking about the CVD, okay? That the map in the water, wastewater document is the same kind of map as what's in our official plan in terms of it allows for commercial and industrial, doesn't speak to residential at all. And so I'm thinking just in terms of, should we really be passing this report tonight or just maybe going through the first and second reading, leaving the third until after we actually deal with that CVD? Because it, to me, to make an amendment to the official plan, but not make an amendment to the water and wastewater. I mean, we did have a fairly big capital expenditure in water, which was supported in the reports when we went through the oversizing for a residential area. And that's not the way it's coming out in that plan. So I'm basically suggesting that we defer the third reading on this report until the next council meeting. And I'm also wondering if we can have a marked up copy so I can actually look and see what has changed.
Yes, Mrs. Carlson, comment?
Through the mayor, I'll start off like maybe with responding to the first comment and then maybe Don can add into it. It is my understanding that the any kind of modification that is proposed for the official plan is a concept. It's not going to change the water wastewater master plan. And it won't until as far as we get more than a concept plan, if that's the case. And I'm not even sure if it will change what the master plan has outlined for that property. Maybe Don, if you could provide a bit more information?
Mr. Giverson?
Yes, through you, Mayor Finch. So this is a master plan is like something that will, it's like a never ending story. So at some point in time, it has to be cut off, that's the snapshot at that point in time. And it's been, the master plan has already been updated and amended a few times after it was already finalized based on a snapshot in time in order to try to keep up with the official plan changes. So the master plan is I guess, an overall umbrella of what's happening with water and wastewater. That change with CVD will have, there will not materially change anything in the master plan itself. The infrastructure is already in the ground to accommodate a residential component, so it already exists now. So there's no further changes that required to infrastructure, whatever is decided on the planning aspect of the CVD development. But basically, the master plan at some point in time, it has to be brought to a conclusion, or it will always be open as there's changes that continue to be made. Now, as far as the specific changes, I do have the marked up document in my office. I would be happy to distribute so you can see exactly the changes that were made from the council report until now. They are predominantly the maps. So the maps and the areas defined correspond to the maps in the official plan. So some of the specific ones in Grand Bend. So south on Mullard Line, there was the parcel of land in the master plan document was a little bit larger than what was in the official plan. So that now matches. The Turnbull lands match. The land north on Highway 21 is showing the future development land is that odd shape that matches with what's in the official plan. The rest of the area is shown as like potential future, because that's what the trunk is designed for, when and if it ever happens. In Exeter, the London Road South future land was shown, so it could be demonstrated what the potential was if that bottleneck in the London Road South trunk sewer was ever completed. But the maps were all checked, double checked to see if they aligned. The areas and the corresponding populations were also updated. So there are some charts in the master plan. So any of these areas that were double checked and changed, there was a check of the area size and the corresponding potential population increases. And then there was a circle back to the projected flows and the impact on all types of infrastructure. So I'd be happy to distribute the all the pages that were provided to the consultant with any markups of any of the changes. But those were the predominantly the changes. The maps to correspond with the official plan maps, and then the corresponding areas that were checked in a lot of detail, and then the potential population and flows that could come from those maps, and then circling back to that, the impact on infrastructure. Other than that, there was a little bit of wordsmithing. The question or the comment that came up about clarifying that South Huron is not a single tier municipality. It is a lower tier in Huron County, so there's no misunderstanding on what the municipality is. And there was some language clarification on the North Middlesex connection, so it was perfectly clear what those were and what the priorities were. My concern with delaying the approval of the master plan is the master plan will be used. There's consultants waiting to move forward with the development charges background study, the rate study. Those are all on hold until this is approved by council, so those can move forward. Any of these changes that we were talking about don't materially affect those, but we do not want to give the consultant the go ahead with these other studies until this is finished by council. And I may have missed one or two. Oh, there's also the water financial plan that has to be done for our license, our license renewal. So there's a few things that are contingent on this being wrapped up. But if it's for information so you can see exactly what changed, I'd be happy to distribute that to all of council tomorrow if we want to do that.
So you're saying there's really no material impact on this plan, is that what you're saying?
Through you, Mayor French, short story is, yes, there's no, these proposed official plan changes to CVD or the one in Crediton have no material change with the master plan. The map and the coloring may change, but it has no material effect on the actual master plan itself. The recommendations are still the same. Thing to keep in mind with the CVD is the oversizing for the water and the sanitary sewer is already in the ground out on Main Street, which they paid for. So whether that what they're requesting moves forward or not, it won't change the master plan, and it won't change what's already physically out there. The Crediton, the Stefan lands, same thing. Whether that's the land in its entirety gets approved, or the piece that was removed, that was the recommendation from the last council resolution. All the recommendations in the master plan are still, they still face all the same recommendations.
Thank you for that. Are there any other questions? Councillor Vaughn.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Don. I personally would like to have the pages that were changed, if in whatever format Don is able, for information. The one thing that I would like to know about the CVD though is, okay, if we're not going to change the maps and there's a point in time, clearly that we are correct that the pipes are in the ground, the pavement's gone over top of the pipe, so there's nothing going to be changed about that, you know. But I don't recall, in having read that whole document, if there is a comment about those pipes being in the road, that they are oversized pipes and that they could accommodate a potential development far beyond anything we've kind of looked at. Like, so from a capacity perspective and a description of those pipes, maybe Don, you could tell me, what does it actually say in that plan? Because I did not have time to go look at that today.
Mr. Giverson.
To you, Mayor Finch. You telling me you didn't read all 10,000 pages of that report?
Read the first rendition, but
So through you, Mayor Finch, I can tell you that that property isn't specifically singled out and captured in the master plan, like the, for example, the those lands in Grand Bend, the Mullard Line lands or the Turnbull lands or north on Highway 21. And part of the reason, so there is some general language about some oversizing along Main Street North in connection with the Connecting Link project. There's some general language, but there's nothing that says specifically about that CVD property, mostly because all the infrastructure implications were all in the rear view mirror. So the master plan is a view of looking forward, and it's a case of the official plan. When this master plan was wrapped up, the official plan still hadn't been updated to anything beyond its commercial and then its industrial. So we're kind of in a bit of a time warp, or like a weird time loop, I guess you have to say, because what the consultant for CVD is talking about is they're still making the request. They don't have it in the official plan right now to have a residential component, but they move forward with putting money in infrastructure because there was an opportunity to do so. So I'm kind of caught in a weird spot here with a master plan because it's already infrastructure in the ground, done, finished, but the OP is still in this state of flux and changing. It may not change. That's still up to County Council and South Huron Council. So that's why it's not specifically addressed like other properties are specifically addressed. It's listed in the charts. You can see there's growth related charts, and that property is specifically listed, but there's no verbiage to speak to it, mostly because it's in I guess the state of limbo is probably the best way to describe it. I don't have anything definitive, and the official plan isn't definitive, so I can't really put anything in the master plan.
Thank you, Mr.
Is that
Giverson.
clear as mud?
Clear as mud. Yep, no, it's very clear to me. Councillor Oak.
Yeah, just looking at the plan itself, there is it says updated water main for that section that goes to the CVD property. And it does say oversized sewer on the wastewater on the map for that section. So that is captured in the actual map itself. Just when I glanced at it here, it doesn't say oversized water, or it just says updated water, but it says oversized sewer.
Okay, thank you. There's no other comments. So Councillor Neeb, go ahead.
Just more of a question. So regardless of whether, we wait for this CBD lands to potentially be updated, it doesn't change the scope of the master plan. It doesn't change any of the material that needs to be added into it, and it won't hinder the development in the future if it does move forward.
Mayor Finch, that is correct. It doesn't materially change the actual master plan document, but I wanted to be clear that unlike some other development areas, that one doesn't have specific language to speak to it because it's in a state of limbo. I don't know if it's going to be residential component or not, but it doesn't materially change the actual document itself or any of the recommendations in master plan.
Great, thank you. Councillor Vaughn.
My whole point for asking that was to have, as Councillor Oak looked up and found out, we have a statement for oversizing the sewer.
It says upside sewer, just to,
Oh, I thought you said oversized sewer.
it says upside sewer for that section. They
And,
called it upsized, so,
okay.
yeah, so.
And for the water, it said upsized as well? It didn't.
Just
But
says
we
new,
did do
new
both.
water main.
We did do both. Okay, so I was just thinking for consistency's sake, we've got the pipe in the ground, it's in there, it definitely relates to what you can and cannot do with water servicing in the future, whether we're actually going to action it with CVD or some other potential owner in the future. I'm just saying for consistency's sake, we've done that work. Shouldn't it be reflected in the plan? That's all I'm asking.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other comments at all this time? Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, to call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 5. Thank you. Next item would be 19.1.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 27/2025, being a bylaw to confirm matters addressed at the April 7th, 2025 council meeting.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7 and 20, please.
That South Huron Council hereby adjourn at 7:45 PM to meet again on April 22nd, 2025 at 6 PM or at the call of the chair.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. No discussion. Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you and thank everyone for attending this evening.